Tonight, when the sun goes down, you'll probably flip a switch. Your room will fill with light. You'll answer a text, watch television, scroll for an hour, maybe complain that it's getting late. Then you'll go to bed. Simple, normal. But for almost all our entire existence as a species, none of that was possible. For hundreds of thousands of years, night wasn't an inconvenience. It was another world. A world so dark you couldn't see your own hand stretched out in front of your face. No streetlights, no flashlights, no candles for most of human history. Just the stars and one small fire. Have you ever wondered what our ancestors actually did after sunset? Not kings, not Romans, not medieval peasants. I'm talking about the people who lived before cities, before farming, before writing, the people who spent almost every night staring into flames beneath an endless sky. The answer is far more surprising than most people realize, because night didn't simply end the day. It changed the human mind. It shaped our stories. It may have even shaped the way your brain still wants to sleep today. To understand why, we have to begin with the single greatest invention our ancestors ever invented: fire. Nobody knows who first mastered it. No name survived. No tribe claimed the discovery. But somewhere nearly 1,000,000 years ago, a group of early humans learned something extraordinary. Fire could be carried, protected, fed, passed from one generation to the next. And with that discovery, human life changed forever. Before fire, our ancestors lived by the same rules as every other primate. When the sun disappeared, so did they. Climb a tree, find shelter, stay perfectly still. Because the darkness belonged to somebody else. Leopards, hyenas, lions, creatures whose eyes worked far better than ours. A human walking through the night wasn't a hunter, he was dinner. Then everything changed. A single campfire pushed the darkness back. Not very far, maybe 30 feet. But inside that small circle, the rules of nature were different. Predators hesitated. Children slept. Families gathered. For the first time, humans owned a tiny piece of the night. It wasn't just warmth. It wasn't just protection. Fire did something even more remarkable. For the first time in history, people simply sat together. At first, probably in silence, watching sparks drift into the stars. Then someone spoke. Maybe they described the day's hunt. Maybe they warned children about the leopard that circled the camp last winter. Maybe they exaggerated a little. Maybe everyone laughed. No one can know exactly what those first conversations sounded like, but anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have discovered something remarkable. Daytime conversations are mostly practical. Who's hunting tomorrow? Where can we find water? The language of survival. Night is different. When darkness falls, conversation transforms. People tell stories, stories about heroes, stories that make children laugh, or keep them awake long after the fire burns low. Around the campfire, human imagination came alive. Long before there were theaters, there was fire. Long before books or temples or nations, there was a circle of light and someone telling a story. But the campfire didn't just change what people talked about. It changed something even more personal: the way they slept. Think about your own night. You probably crawl into bed, close your eyes, and hope to sleep until morning. If you wake up at 2 o'clock, you assume something is wrong. Maybe stress, maybe anxiety, maybe insomnia. But what if your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do? For thousands upon thousands of years, humans didn't sleep the way we do today. They slept twice. The first sleep began not long after sunset. After several hours, people woke up naturally. Not because of a loud noise, not because of a crying baby. Their bodies simply decided it was time to be awake. And they stayed awake, sometimes for an hour, sometimes 2. Then, without forcing it, they drifted into a second sleep that lasted until dawn. To us, that sounds strange. To them, it was completely ordinary. In fact, for most of history, nobody even thought to explain it. People casually referred to their first sleep and later their second sleep. No explanation because everyone already understood. It was simply how humans slept. So, what happened during those quiet hours between them? Almost anything. Some people prayed. Some couples spent time together. Others visited neighbors whose fires were still glowing. Many simply sat in silence, thinking. Imagine that. No phone buzzing beside your bed. Just darkness, silence, and your own thoughts. Modern scientists accidentally rediscovered this pattern, not by reading old books, but by removing electricity. Researchers placed volunteers in an environment with long nights. No television, no phones, only natural daylight. Within weeks, something remarkable happened. Without anyone telling them what to do, nearly every participant settled into the same forgotten rhythm. Sleep. Wake peacefully. Sleep again. It was as if an ancient program buried deep inside the human brain had finally switched back on. Even more surprising, the people didn't describe those waking hours as frustrating. They described them as peaceful. Some later said it felt almost like a meditation. For nearly all of human history, every ancestor you have experienced this state. Perhaps this was when hunters replayed the day's mistakes, when parents worried about their children. It may have been the most reflective hours of the human day, not because anyone planned it, but because evolution quietly built it into us. Then, in the blink of an eye, we erased it. Today, the average person spends hours surrounded by artificial light after the sun has already set. Televisions, streetlights, phones, computer screens. Your brain doesn't understand electricity. It only understands one thing: light. When bright light reaches your eyes late at night, your brain assumes the sun is still in the sky. It delays the release of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body the day is over. Researchers have discovered something astonishing. Take modern people away from artificial light for only a few days, let them live under the rising and setting sun, and their bodies begin changing almost immediately. They become sleepy earlier. They wake naturally. Their internal clocks begin drifting back towards the rhythm that guided humanity for millennia. It's as though your body never forgot. It was simply waiting for darkness to return. Today, many children have never seen a truly dark sky. The Milky Way, the same river of stars that guided hunters across continents, has vanished beneath the glow of our cities. Our ancestors didn't have to travel to remote parks to see it. It greeted them every single night. Imagine lying beside a fire, the flames slowly collapsing into glowing embers, and above you, more stars than you've ever imagined. The modern world gave us comfort, safety, medicine, knowledge beyond anything our ancestors could have imagined. No one would willingly trade those things away, but every gain carries a cost. And somewhere beneath all the convenience, we quietly surrendered an ancient relationship with the night. So tonight, before you flip that switch, pause for a moment, step outside, look up, imagine a world without electricity. Imagine standing beside a small fire, knowing that beyond its light, everything belonged to the darkness. For almost every human who has ever lived, that wasn't imagination. It was simply another ordinary night. And perhaps some small part of your mind still remembers it.